Namaskaram Sadhguru. It's wonderful to interact with you on Guru Purnima. So many people are interacting with you. So thanks for giving me opportunity to ask you questions. Why don't people share their knowledge with others? Just as the way you are sharing with your followers.
This is the age of intellectual property. Somebody even wants to patent yogasanas. You can patent the asana, but still you can't get into it. You may have patented all the difficult asanas, but can you get into it, that's a question. So, we have come to a place in the world where everything is monetized. Everything has a commercial angle to it. So because of that, as people have been miserly with money, now they are miserly with knowledge because, knowledge is money. So they are miserly with that because it's money in some way. So this monetizing of everything really destroy many things in this world. In this culture, we always fixed it like this: spiritual process, health-related things, and education. These three things should never be commercialized. Everything else can be commercialized. These three things should always be offered. The question is only about the qualification of the recipient. All kinds of people come and say, I want to go, I want to do this, I want to do that. 2 days later, they won't be here. So the question is only about the qualifications of the recipient. If that one thing is ensured, knowledge should be offered irrespective of commercial interests that are involved in it. But today everything is commercialized, and in many ways you can't help it because the whole momentum is in that direction. Virender may be willing to share his knowledge. He may teach 10 different people how to hold the bat, how to hit the ball, how to stand, how to do this, how to do that. But how many will go about scoring double centuries after double centuries? Because to get a qualified recipient is not easy. It's not easy. Knowledge may be there. When it comes to experiential knowing, how many people are willing to receive it? Everybody says, yes, I every day meet people, all the way Sadhguru, I want to go all the way. Tomorrow morning, they're crying because somebody said something, they want to leave. Day after tomorrow morning, their uncle's daughter's birthday, they want to go. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your uncle's daughter. All I'm saying is, your interests are many. That means you're not going anywhere. You can dabble with many, but there must be one direction to life, otherwise you're not going far. You're going to wander around here. If you want to go penetrate through something and go a distance, you need some one-pointedness. People come here, they say, Sadhguru, you give me any kind of sadhana, I'm willing to die, Sadhguru. I said, don't die, hold it. I'm willing to offer anything, but hold it, we'll see, we'll go step by step. 3 days later they come and say, Sadhguru, Sadhguru, I've found somebody, Sadhguru, I think For lifetimes this person must have been waiting for me. I saw this girl and now there is a spiritual angle to it. It looks like for lifetimes we have known each other. If you have known somebody for lifetimes and you didn't make it, it's best you keep away from them. Because for most people, their direction of life keeps changing every other day. It's hard to offer anything. It's all bits and pieces. Of course, there are also people who think, see, knowledge is not something that you own because knowledge is not about you. Knowledge is about the creation, about the nature of the creation. What is already there is what you have absorbed. You didn't invent it, you didn't come up with it, you only saw it. This is why the language in this country is very clear. When it comes to any kind of spiritual dimension, we are only talking about realization. Realizing means something that was always there, always right here, but you were so stupid you didn't see it, today you saw it. I realized, I did not attain, I did not arise, I did not climb somewhere, I just realized. But the thing was always here. So, what is here all the time as truth cannot belong to somebody. Nobody can stop you from it. But those who have accessed, if they have truly accessed, they will never block you, they will never hold back. Only those who have accumulated from books and stuff, they will hold back because any accumulated stuff is limited and it'll get over. If you give away everything, it'll get over tomorrow morning, you won't know what to do. So you will hold it and be miserly because you have gathered it. What is gathered you can hold back, what you have realized you cannot hold back because it's an endless run. You're only constantly wishing there is somebody here who can soak it up as fast as you can give it. That is the problem. The problem is of lack of receptivity, not of holding back. If you really know, but if you have acquired knowledge, you will be miserly because you can only acquire that much, you don't want it to get over. Knowledge is like money again it can get over.
So I think this is a very important point that you've just made, in that we do have a very unique position now in history where we have the capability to do some of the things I think that we've all been thinking of, which is to create, I guess what I'd call a health revolution. We certainly need one here in the United States. And you talked earlier about a culture of health. And I'm just wondering what you think might be ways that we in the United States can take advantage of some of the wisdom of traditional Indian culture to help create a health revolution here.
I think one fundamental thing that we have to fix about this wisdom business is wherever I go, people say ancient wisdom. No, wisdom has to be contemporary. Ancient wisdom will not work. There are some aspects of wisdom which are timeless, any time they're relevant. But many things which were very relevant 1,000 years ago are not relevant today. There are certain fundamentals which are always relevant. So let's look at only that. For that, the first and foremost thing, because you're talking essentially about health, we have to produce a user's manual for this most sophisticated gadget that we have, a user's manual. What is the nature? How does it function? When I talk about it, if you as much turn your hands around, the way you breathe will change. Most human beings have not noticed it. If you simply turn it around, the way you're breathing will alter itself. So this is because it is like you've been given a super sophisticated computer, but you are in still caveman's mindset. You want to beat it into action somehow. So this is the essential problem. The reason why, let's say taking United States as an example, this is not going to be the problem of only United States. United States has come first in the race. Okay. Others will get it because they're all going the same way. Right now, US is a stark example. One thing is, we go on raising the bar for survival. We must define, this is survival. This means you're good enough. After this, it must be exploration of what you really wish to do. But we keep on raising the bar of survival in such a way, now even after becoming the most affluent nation, a whole lot of people are just struggling for survival. This is senseless. And affluence means your survival is done thing, isn't it? But like you just mentioned, they're working 3 jobs to survive. This is not affluence, this is horrible poverty. At least in India we can sit back and enjoy. See, the way we have structured the society right now is, people have a 35-year house mortgage. I mean, if you have a 35-year economic commitment to something, tomorrow even if God popped up here, you can't change the direction of your life because the bank is here. What will you do? Because largely you're all from Christian community, so I'm saying, if Jesus popped up tomorrow and he says, "Come follow me," you're not going because, no, not busy, you got monthly payment. You got bills to pay, insurance to pay. You can't change. This is a silly way of organizing our lives. The very reason why we want to become affluent is so that depending upon what life offers us, we can change the direction of our life whenever we want, isn't it? Isn't it very important? This is one thing that has to sink into the American people. Being the most affluent nation means you are not battling for survival. This is happening because you're raising the bar of survival endlessly. No matter what you do, you're still only fighting for survival. If this one thing we change, then we can do lot of things about health and well-being and beyond that.
People from the Indian background would know much about this. I am not going into the historical aspects of this person, but there was a king, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, you know. Shivaji, who was a great king or an emperor who's, kind of acquired a tremendous amount of respect for his administration, for his bravery, for his courage and his strategy of how he fought in those times. Hugely respected, especially people from Maharashtra. So Shivaji is relevant even today because of the way he conducted his administration. Very evolved, enlightened administration. Very little people know about his administration. Generally, they know only about his battle strategies, which are admired and appreciated. But the most important thing was his administration. Very evolved administration he did for his kingdom. So he had a guru whose name was Ramdas. One day Shivaji was standing in the balcony of his palace. Then he saw his guru going from house to house with a begging bowl, begging. Then he thought, what is my guru doing, begging on the streets? I'm a king, my guru can't be begging on the street, he must be. Then he called Balaji, who was his assistant, wrote a chit and sent it, please go and place it at the Guru's feet. So he went and placed this chit at the Guru's feet. So he picked it up and saw. And Ramdas smiled. Next day, he came to the palace and he said, in this chit, Shivaji had written, I am placing my entire kingdom at your feet. You can do whatever you want with the kingdom and me. So, Ramdas said, now that you have forsaken your kingdom and given it to me, what are you planning to do? So Shivaji said, Sadhguruji, whatever you say, you are my Sadhguru, whatever you say, I will do. And I just want to be around you and serve you, that's all I want to do. Then Ramdas had an extra begging bowl. So take this. And both of them went begging on the street, the emperor and the guru. People, when the guru came to their house, they thought he's just some beggar, they gave whatever they gave. Now the emperor has come, with great respect, they gave whatever they could. It's only now that if a beggar comes home, people are putting cooked food, leftover food, all kinds of things. But in this culture that was never done in the past, they only gave ingredients, rice, dal, like this. So it's for them to go and cook their food and eat. So after their begging rounds were over, they went near the river and the guru prepared a small meal, a simple meal out of whatever ingredients had come that day. And after he finished eating, what was left over, the king, the Shivaji, no more a king, ate. Then they were sitting under a tree and Shivaji smiled and said, now that you turned me into a beggar in just 24 hours, what else do you wish to do with me? So Ramdas said, it's called ghero, that means a piece of orange cloth. He gave this orange cloth, which was on his body, he took it and gave this orange cloth. And he said, use this as your banner and go back and rule the country. But just know, this is not your kingdom. If you know this doesn't belong to you, you don't own it, and you will do the best that you can for the people, that is the way you must rule. So Shivaji always used the orange cloth or the orange flag as his banner, and he administered his kingdom in a most enlightened way possible to run a kingdom. Why I'm telling you this story is, Shivaji rose in his stature, lives in the hearts and minds of this country, because he lived in grace. He fought battles, many, but absolutely balanced, never in anger, never in hatred, never lost in anything, just doing what is needed. Grace is the greatest empowerment that you can have once grace enters your life. Every little thing is, how do I become available to grace? Grace does not mean it's coming from one direction somewhere. As gravity is, grace is, but in a much bigger dimension, because gravity works only to a certain distance. Grace is the basis of the creation. But you won't be available to it if you have strong walls of individuality. If you become dispassionate, slowly the walls will dissolve. Now it breathes grace. Everything in you breathes grace.
It's wonderful to have you
Good morning. I
with
feel
us.
like
Good morning.
This is good. Do we say namaste or no?
Namaste is good.
Okay.
Namaste.
Essentially, this is a way of, when you look at a person, you tend to recognize their gender, their caste, creed, color, or good, bad, all kinds of things. To look beyond that fundamentally the source of every life is the same thing. So when we do namaste, we recognize only that dimension of you. You as a possibility, not as what you are today.
So we're talking about like kind of re-engineering ourselves. I don't know if you noticed, but New Yorkers tend to be a little high-strung.
How can you miss it?
You notice.
So what do we need to do to kind of reset ourselves, re-engineer?
Well, it's inner engineering. See, we have engineered the outside world the way we want. But what have we done about ourselves? As a generation of people, we are living in the highest level of comfort and convenience, but we are whining like nobody else.
So we're not finding that inner peace, the
See,
true
these-
happiness, success.
These words have become very cliched, inner peace, inner joy. But tell me, all human experience, joy or misery, where does it happen?
In
It
the
can only
heart.
happen within us.
Right.
It never happens in the air. Okay, people say love is in the air, but it's not true. When you are in love, it looks like everything is like that. When you are in joy, it looks like the whole world is joyful. So fundamentally, all human experience comes from within us. What happens around us, there are too many forces, we can't control all of it.
Right.
Some of it happens our way, but what happens from within us must happen our way. Right now, this is the only problem human beings have. What happens within us is not happening our way, because we are not engineered the way we want. Good engineering simply means it works the way we want, isn't it?
So how can you achieve that?
There is a scientific process, as there is a science and technology for external well-being. Similarly, there is an entire science and technology for inner well-being. See, do you agree with me that this human mechanism is the most complex or sophisticated machine on the planet? But have you read the user's manual?
That's very funny. That's very funny. So by the way, you do online courses, right?
Yes, there is online inner engineering process, which is more of a preparatory step, and then there's a completion process, which is always direct transmission.
So you're very socially savvy, you know? I mean, you have almost 2 million followers on Twitter.
There are over 500 million people on our YouTube imprints are there.
Wow.
That's incredible.
But, when you say savvy, I've been living in this world for over 6 decades, so I know this world, the way it works.
And what about also the Isha Foundation that you have? Because people can visit there, spend several days.
Yes, we have 2 large centers. We have city centers, over 350 centers across the world, but we have 2 major centers, one in southern India and one in Tennessee, near Chattanooga.
Okay.
So this is over 2,300 acre property, which is a large meditation center. In India, it's over 500 acre property, which is one of the most important places. It's on Incredible India platform right now as a tourism place also.
And I know that you're also in town because you're, I guess, a fashionista. I don't know. Are you?
Am I doing okay?
You look great. You're styling from the top down to your toes. So you're doing something that fashion meets peace?
So
or?
this is a 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. So this year we are doing many things, whatever was dear to him. One thing was rural life, so we are doing a lot of work with the farmers and creating model villages. Another thing is the clothing, because one symbol of Mahatma Gandhi was always spinning wheel and him because this was a protest against the destruction of textile industry in India by the occupying forces of the time. So we're trying to put this back because India has over 136 distinct varieties of weaves. No other culture has ever done this. It's taken few millennia to develop these skills, but today most of them are on the verge of dying because it's almost the last generation doing this weaving. Their children have all become software engineers probably in San Francisco.
True. That's very funny.
That's right.
So we're trying to put this back. To put this back, one of the most important thing is to create a market. So we are exposing these textiles. We brought 120 varieties of distinct weaves to be presented to some of the top American designers so that they get familiar with this weaves
process, yeah.
and also how to use it. It's their choice.
Oh, that's so nice. So if somebody's watching right now, can we do something to make them feel better? Is there something that we, like a thought that we can kind of like think, get our minds around today to kind of reset our day?
The simple thing is just this. See, what people are struggling with is not their life. People think they're suffering their life. No, they're suffering their own thought and emotion most of the time. Either their body or their thought or emotion.
Right.
Most of the time, unless they have an injury or an ailment, it may be physical body. But rest of the time, it's just their own thought and emotion. What I'm asking you is, when will you learn to handle your thought and emotion? At what time in your life? Because even if you're 50, 60, if you've not figured how to handle your thought and emotion, when are you going to get it?
Maybe you never do.
So if you never do, what you're saying is, the basic faculties that you have, which is unique to the human being, this level of cerebral activity is unique to the human being on this planet at least. So, your most fundamental instruments, which is what makes us human, you will never get to use it the way you want it. Isn't that
That's
disastrous?
a tragedy.
Yeah.
So can you
It's a
do
downer.
that? Can you do that by meditation? Does that help reset
see,
the emotions?
The word meditation doesn't really mean anything because it's too generic. It's not… Anybody with eyes closed, we think they're meditating because there are many dimensions to it. Right now, how to use the thought. There are some things which are constant within us for most human beings. Breath is happening, of course, and there is a thought process going on. So you can link these two, and because you asked right now what we can do, right now what you can do is simply this. See, what you call as my body is an accumulation. It's a food that we've eaten which slowly gathered like this. We were not born like this. And what you call as my mind is the various impressions we have taken in from the world around us. So this is a heap of food, this is a heap of impressions. So where is you? So the simplest thing is just this, that you create a little distance from what you call as my body and what you call as my mind. So you just do this, people can do this, there is also a guided meditation called Isha Kriya which is available on the app and everything. All you have to do is with inhalation, you just remind yourself, I am not the body. With exhalation, you remind yourself, I am not even the mind.
I'm not the body and I'm not the mind.
And so what are you?
But with inhalation and exhalation.
I'm not
Why
the
do you
body.
ask me, huh?
So what am I then?
Yes, exactly. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind.
See, the most important thing is, at least you know I do not know, all right? I do not know is a tremendous possibility. The moment you see I do not know, the longing to know and the possibility to know naturally happens.
Because if
See,
you
just
think
now,
you
the
know
moment,
all…
The moment you see that I do not know, you ask the question, then what am I? But you asking me,
Fascinating.
what am I? You should not ask me, you should ask yourself, what is
Right.
the nature of my existence? If you do not understand or know the nature of your existence is going to be accidental, isn't
Right.
it? It is that which is causing so much anxiety. Suppose you're just about to get into an accident of some kind. Is there anxiety?
I've heard you talk about fear, desire, that these are all…
You're a veteran.
that they're from
No,
the
I'm
environment.
saying, see, if you're getting into an accident, is there naturally anxiety in anybody? Natural, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, you're
right
bracing
now-
yourself
yes,
for an accident.
Right now, most human beings are existing accidentally because they do not even know the nature of their own existence. So anxiety, we are beginning to think is natural. Anxiety is natural. As a child, when you were 2, 3, 4 years of age, joy was natural, isn't it? Exuberance was natural. Now we are beginning to say anxiety is natural. No, anxiety is not natural.
You're right.
This is because you're existing accidentally.
I'm not my body.
I'm not even
my
the mind.
Yes.
Inhalation, I'm not the body. Exhalation, I'm not even the mind. This is a guided process available on the app and…
Sadhguru.
Nice to have you.
Thank
Check
you.
him out
Wonderful.
on all his social media platforms. He's got to go now because he's going to the United Nations. He's a busy man.
Very. Thank you for stopping by.
you.
Good
Thank
day.
you.